Hey friends, this is Raja. Today we are going to see the user and group administration in AIX server. Basically, we need a user ID to log into a server. So without a user ID is like a key to a house. So without a user ID, you cannot log into a server. Each and every Unix operating system got their own default user IDs inbuilt in the server. Like when you install a server, it will come up with some user IDs inbuilt in the server. In that, we have a user ID that is called root. That is even called as a super user or a system administrator user ID. So the root user is the one which got all the permissions, can do anything in your server, in your Unix operating system. So basically, if you want to do something like creating a user or changing a user setting or removing a user, you need to log in as root user and do all those activities. I mean, you have to log in as root user and then only you can execute those commands. So right now I have logged in as root user. If I say ID, it will tell what is my user ID and which group I belongs to. Group is nothing but a group of users used for a specific function. Okay, so this is my username root, and every user got one ID. It is like an employee ID in your company. So it's an unique ID. By default, root's UID is 0, and root belongs to a group called system, and the system's group ID is 0. Group ID is there for every group, like your user ID. And this is called my primary group. I mean the root's primary group. And these are called the secondary groups, or you can also call it as a group set. Okay, in AIX they call it as group set. In other Unix flavors like Solaris and Linux, they call it as secondary groups. A user can belong to maximum of 32 groups, including primary and secondary groups. So he cannot become a member of 33rd group. Maximum allowed limit is only 32. Okay, so you have another command to find out as whom you logged in. Who am I? It will tell you which user ID you used to log into the server. Okay, there is another command called who. It will give you a list of users logged into your server. So using the who command, you can find out who are all logged into the server and at what time they logged in. See, I have logged in at July 31st at 12:34 as root user from my laptop. Laptop's host name is public PC. Okay, so now let us see how to create a user and what actually happens and what are the information you need to create a user. Okay, let's make this a scrap. Okay, for creating a user you need to know user name, user ID. You don't need, actually you can just leave it blank. Okay, then home directory, by default it comes under /home/ your name. Suppose if my username is Raja, my home directory will be /home/Raja. What is the use of home directory? Home directory is the place where I keep my files. It is like what to say? It's like a cubicle in an office. I place my files, my folders, pens, and everything in my cubicle and not in other cubicles. Like that. I place all my scripts, files, and everything in my home directory, that is /home/Raja. And there is one more important thing for a user, that is called shell. A shell is a program that runs, uh, how to say, it acts as a bridge between the kernel and the user. So whatever you need some interface, to type the commands. So this is called shell. With CPES command, it shows KSH. KSH is a shell called conn shell. So whatever command I type, this K shell, the conn shell, it converts into the machine readable language and it presents to kernel. Kernel will, it uses the device drivers to interact with the hardware. So you need to have a shell to interact with the system. Yeah, different shells like conn shell is there. This is called Bourne shell. This is C shell. The default one in the AIX is conn shell. Okay, and basically, if you know all these things, this is enough, and you need to know about the group. There are a lot of groups available in the system. Basically, for regular users, the default group name is staff. If you want, you can create a group for a specific function or for a specific department, and you can put all the users in that particular group. If you don't specify the group